Hello, the internet. And let me just resize things to make sure. Yes, I am actually in frame. I have OBS is a weird size. So let's go build a bot, which is our bonus part 2 of 4. Just looking on the YouTube part there, I wondered whether Alex couldn't do maths. I mean, I certainly can't, because this is actually part 6 of 4. We may or may not get to 8 of 4 and beyond. We'll see. Anyway, one of the things that was going through my head as I was waiting for all this to start is that our Patreon slide comes up every however many seconds I've set it to come up, and I'm thinking, do I need to update that? Have we had any more Patreon supporters? I'll need to have a look. Please do remember that Norfolk Developers is pretty much supported by our Patreon supporters, because we can't have a conference thanks to the current global situation. That's where our money used to come from, was the sponsorship for conferences. So now we're mostly community supported. So huge thank you for everyone who has already supported, and if you can lob a few dollars this way to help us do what we do, that would be fantastic. Anyway, if you remember last week in the gripping episode of Let's Go Build a Bot, where I turned S3 into a database-ish endpoint and caused what seems to be huge controversy about naming, you'll remember that I ran out of build minutes on Bitbucket, which I thought at the time was actually quite useful because it provided a cliffhanger rather than the abject disappointment of, oh, this doesn't work. Alex very kindly went out and tweeted Atlassian and said this has happened, and Atlassian very quickly came back and said, yes, you can add more minutes by going to your account and buying them. It's the response we expected, not the response we hoped for, but such is life. Anyway, if we move here and have a look at the allow the bot to store items in S3 issue, it's closed. It's resolved. I went and bought more minutes for my Bitbucket account, something that was not easy to do, thanks to the fact that I look after multiple Bitbucket accounts and their non-trivial way of setting up payments. Anyway, got my build minutes in and kicked off the build again, and it worked. It wasn't going to be an anticlimax last week. It was going to be a yes, this works. So this has been resolved. We are now in production. We have been running in production for a week with one restart in order to test the actual persistence side of things. This has happened because this is the internet, and the internet means we can't have nice things. So already we've weaponized another bot in order to abuse the limited functionality that our new bot has. I should have foreseen this. I blame myself for not foreseeing this. So as part of that, we have issues. We have a lot more issues. First of all, rename driver. There were polls that went out with my original name, which is so bad I've forgotten it. We went with driver. If you remember, I wasn't entirely happy with the word driver. We've got some better options. I believe there was a poll. I was never told the answer of the poll. Leon on our Discord server came up with a much better name, which we're going to use. Status should contain startup time. When I restarted the bot to see whether it was persisting the values and not just keeping them in memory, I wasn't really able to see whether this was the same instance or a new instance of the bot, so it would be great if the status thing said, hey, I started it this time. Testing fell by the wayside a bit in the last stream. While I'm a huge advocate of testing, the real world gets in the way, and we're treating this project as, well, it is a real world project, it's something that's going to get used, and occasionally you need to cut corners in order to hit certain deadlines. Now, I'm much more a believer of sad lines than deadlines. People get sad if you don't deliver something on time. However, we do sort of have deadlines with this stream, because I've got until a certain amount of time, and then the stream ends. So while nobody dies, the stream dies. So in order to facilitate getting where we wanted to be, there wasn't as much testing as perhaps there should have been. Shutdown command would be nice if I could shut down the bot from the bot itself, although that really does imply having admin users and things, so we'll also have to think about that. Allow the control character phrase to be configurable. We've been through !_Astro. We're just using ! at the moment, but that may conflict with other bots. So perhaps we can make that configurable. That should be nice and easy. And number 12, quite a high priority, ignore other bots. As you can see, these have been sitting around for a few days waiting for the stream so I can go and attack them. Now, as is the way, Wednesday 5:30 PM has snuck up on me again. I'm convinced that Wednesdays now miss out the period between 3 and sort of 5:15. So where are we? We are currently messing around with some other stuff that I've got that's open sourced. We had an interesting chat over lunchtime on our Discord watercooler channel, and one of the things I discovered was that bcrypt, which is what I normally use for password hashing, is no longer really up to snuff. So I've spent most of today messing around, getting Argon 2 working with my security stuff. So what we actually want to be doing is jumping into this project. There is a change. The reason being is because I promised last week that I would tell you how my alias, my coverage alias worked. And this is how my coverage alias works. Basically, when you run go test, if you pass the cover profile flag to it, it'll spit something out into a file that says, here are the files and here are the various coverage stats. Uncover is a tool that I've downloaded, so we run uncover over that output, and then we just delete the output file, so it's not cluttering stuff up. So we're going to leave that in there, and I'll commit it in with the next change. And I think most pressing out of the issues. Let's just get this in the right directory as well. There we are. Most pressing out of these issues is going to be ignore other bots. I can see, Alex has been nice and not absolutely mullered the server, but there's other people may not be so generous. So you will note here, I've turned around and said, or just the null dev event bot, especially if it's hard. Alex, I see you. So let's start doing that. So we need a get new issue. What issue number is that? I've forgotten already. 12. And now we need to do some googling. So what's the package that we're using? We're going to have a look at Go mod. We are using Discord Go. Let's Google for this, because I want to see whether this provides something nice and simply out of the box to identify if a user is a bot. Documentation. I suppose we're going to have to go to the documentation link. API documentation. Snowflake timestamp. I'm sorry, I'm intrigued. I'm going to have to go read it. Okay, I have no idea what a snowflake ID is. I'm going to have to read that later. So we want bots. Let's just do a search for bot. Bot. Get with bot response. Don't care about that. Application bot create. Get with bot. This is not looking hopeful. Or is that what we get back from a... Is that what we get back from a message? Right, okay. I'm going to try a different tack on this. So, we know in our Discord handler, in our listener, Discord, there we are, we get one of these things, a session, and that's got the state and the user and everything on it. So let's go have a poke around of that particular object. So state.user, what do we have on that? Aha! There we have a bot. So if I just yoink whether the user is a bot. So if state.user.bot return. Shrink. And that should be it, really. I mean, that's all we need to do. So we can commit that. Fix number 12. Ignore bots. Commit that. Woohoo! That was easy. Now, one of the things that I think is fairly high priority in the set of issues, and may not just get done in its own issue, is the fact that we did let testing fall by the wayside. So number 12 was very, very easy to do. Let's shove a bit of testing in here. My Discord listener doesn't actually really rely on Discord a huge amount, and we can certainly uncouple it from Discord if it's overly reliant. So we have a connect, which does all this, and then we have a handle. Now, if I make my handler public, I can now do all kinds of testing with it. So let's do that as well. Let's just make this public, shove that in there. We're going to have to worry about how we test the connect function a little bit later, but certainly this logic here in the handle function, we can test this easily. So let's go new, go file, Discord test, and let's go for an example to start off with. Example, can't spell, example. Is the autocomplete going to kick in? There we are. Handle. So what do we want to do here? We want a new Discord thingy. So we'll just yoink. And then we want to do.handle, and that takes a session thingy and a message create. So how do we create these? This now relies on how our Discord library maintainer has done things. So hopefully I should just be able to create a Discord go. Oops. Discord go.session. Like so, and a Discord go dot message. Like so. Nope. What do we want there? Message create. Now they're a little bit naughty here because the idiomatic go is to accept interfaces and return structs, and here they're accepting pointers to structs. Hopefully I should still be able to fiddle around with this, but it means I can't really put in my own mock interfaces. If this was interfaces, I could just create a dummy session, a dummy message create. And all would be nice and easy. However, we are where we are. So what we might actually want to do is say that this is my message create, because we're probably going to want to populate some stuff in here. This is my session. I'm just going to want to populate some stuff in there and just shove those. Session message. And now we can do it up here. Right, what do we have in here that we need? I'm going to swap the order of those because they're going in a different order into the type. So we know that we have the state, and on that some stuff to do with the user. I think that's all I use on the session. So hopefully just state user ID and state user bot. For our initial test, we're not going to care about bots, so we should just be able to have state. What does state want? State wants to have a pointer to a state. state, and what does that want? Oh, horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. This is why we accept interfaces. Right. Not to be deterred. The state has a user. Where does the state's user come from? Let's just go boink into that. That's under a ready. Not entirely keen on the way this has been done. Does this take a ready? Yes, it does. There's the ready. Ready is a thing. Oops, didn't tell me what the thing is. Let's just go and have a look and see what that thing is. A ready is a non-pointer struct. Massively fighting the temptation to rewrite this library. There we go. Oops, I didn't want to complete. Discord go. But what we're seeing here is a fantastic example of why you want to accept interfaces. What we'll see when we go to start testing the storage side of things, it's going to be so much easier. Right, so we've got a user, and they are a user. No, what are they? They are pointed to a user. Oh, of course, it's Discord Go user. Discord Go user, and they have an ID. Wow. We're going to call them user. Sorry, all of that has just made my brain go thunk. That's a hideous setup for a test. Content. Where did content come from? From my message create. That was where my content came from, and what do I do with that? Okay. On my session, I send that through. Right, so we need to create an m.content, sorry, message create with some content. What else do I take from M? An author ID, and a channel ID. I expect this to be as painful. So, message create. Let's have a look at you. You just contain a type of message. Wow. Right, channel ID is going to be Chan. ID, do we use ID? I can't remember now. We use channel ID. We used the content, and we used the author ID. That's the one we used. Right, so content is going to be stuff. Also, attachments, embeds, reactions, pin, the type, I can't remember, don't care about any of that rubbish. Let's do that. Don't care about the message ID, don't care about the guild ID. Right, let's make our author a thing. Let me guess, it's a pointer to a Discord Go author. No. It's a pointer to a Discord Go user. Yes, it is. There we go. So we're going to change this to be fields are assigned without oh, of course they are. Right, why have we got the two users there? That's the user who's sending it. What did we use the other one? With the M user ID. I'm sure we used it somewhere. Ah yes, M author ID and M user ID. I'm wondering if I've got those the wrong way round in my check for whether it's a bot. Because the logic there is saying if the author of the message matches, and I think, yeah, so I think state user ID is me, so actually what I want here is M author dot bot. That looks better. Right, in that case, the state user ID is going to be me, and the author ID is going to be them. So we should be able to handle this. And then the last thing on here is, of course, we're doing this s.channel message send. We're going to be able to stub this out. Blum, 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 blum. Right, okay. We will need to change tack on this. Mainly because the way this library has been built up, I can't really mock it out. I can't mock it out at all, so I can't test it. And that's not a good thing, but that's fine. So we change tack by doing this. We're going to create ourselves this idea of a sort of a listener interface that something can implement, and things that get passed around. So we're going to care about certain things. Now, I could try and make this massively generic. I'm not going to. We're using Discord. I'm going to use the Discord model, and hopefully things like Slack and what have you would also fall into this model. So what we have is it's the sort of the chat application. So I'm going to call it service. It's the thing that's providing the chat service. And actually, I might even just call it chat, because that's what we're. Don't rename chat. And in that we want to accept something that is a sender. God, I mean, we can even just call that sender. We may need to create another type as well, but we'll see. Right, so type sender is an interface, and we want to have a send, and it wants to go to a channel, which is going to be a string, and it's going to have a message which is going to be a string on what else might we need. We can go to here and find out. Dun, 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 dun. That's all we need. So we care about a sender. What we also care about is a user, so we'll actually create a user, and type user is a struct, and they are going to have a name, which is going to be a string, and they are going to have a flag called bot, which will be a bool. Do we need anything else? I don't think so. Let's just double check in here. Blah 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 blah. No. And then we're going to have this idea of a message. So message, type message is a struct, and that is going to have some content. And that's going to be a string. It's going to have a sender, which is a user, and I think that's it. It's going to have a channel as well. Channel string. So that should do it. So I'll go and shove comments on them in a bit, just while we build this up. So we're going to want to go back into our Discord type, and we're going to want to have this idea of a Discord sender. I might just create a new type down here. So Discord sender. Just do it for struct for now. Empty for the time being, and then our Discord sender, spelt, has a send, which is going to take the channel, which is a string, the message, which is a talking and typing at the same time, which is also a string. And from that here, if we shove we're going to have to put the Discord session in there. So that's going to be this. There's the session, and then we're just going to go d.session. Chris is asking, is the goats project actually about goats or go-ats? You have spotted my... so Go has a notoriously... I say notoriously crap. Go has a crap time formatting string that I dislike. And my users are having problems using the Go formatting string. So I wanted to provide an alternative time string, which handily, when you use my naming convention for Go projects, you prefix it with Go, gives you Go alternate time string or goats. Yes, I did work backwards on that one. Anyway, d.session channel message send. Oops. Channel message send. God, there's loads of them. Yoink. Oops. Channel message. I just keep thinking of the Monty Python message user. Right. Oh, actually, we probably do care about errors. I'm guessing that's the number of characters that was sent back as well. Oh no, it's the message that was sent back. Don't really care about that. So we're just kind of, oops. We're going to bung our sender. We're going to say that this also returns an error. There we go. Fantastic. So we can go back into Discord and we can say that this is going to return an error. And if yoink nil. Oops. Probably don't even need that up in Discord. That can be under sender. Message sent failed equals errors.new failed to send message. Great. So we can go back to our Discord. We can shove that in there. So here we can return rf %w %s message sent failed error. So what this is doing is just wrapping up the error that's come out from the Discord Go package with my own error, so I can then check using the new stuff for error handling in Go 1.13 and say, is this error a message send fail? And I don't really care what the contents of the text are anymore, which is how I used to have to check dynamic error messages. This is a much better way of doing things. So we can return nil there. Excellent. So we've now got a sender. The session dying. I am thinking this becomes redundant. No, it doesn't become redundant because I am a bot. But if I'm not, this is to stop me responding to myself, but if I'm responding, the author will also be a bot. So that now becomes redundant. We just need to check if the author is a bot. So the only thing that we're using session for is handling the actions, and actually I'm passing through the wrong ID here. This is why we need to do testing. That's m.author .id. We've got m.chat. So s again. Bugs everywhere. So this session I don't really care about so much anymore, if at all, other than just for sending. So that session now disappears. Goodbye. And becomes just a sender. There we go. Oops, no, capital S. Now we're taking an interface. I don't care what the sender looks like. I can test this now, and we're going to do a similar thing over here with message create. So we're just sending in a message. So what do we need on the message? We've got all the stuff there. Channel content sender. Who the user has a name and a. Actually, that's not really a name, that is an ID. Cool. So we can just in there send in a message. Now, I know I've said I prefer interfaces to structs, or accept interfaces over structs, but the message doesn't actually have any logic. It's a data thing, so it doesn't really matter that I'm sending in a struct. And actually, I'm going to swap the order of these because it makes more sense for me than a message. We handle a message. Message sender is a bot. Then we bail message channel message sender ID here message channel message sender and here we just turn around and say s.send channel message. We don't have two things coming back anymore, so we're not ignoring that. So our code still works. Well, our code still compiles. Let me let me clarify that one. And now we've actually got this sort of interface that we might be able to abstract out later if we need to. We can talk about just having box standard handlers. Right, so why have I done this? I have done this because I can also then have, this has got my Discord sender in it. I can then also have my mock sender. Type mock sender. We'll need to put struct on there. We need to put some other things in there as well. Spell struct. I did spell it. Yeah. And we need to. Actually, I'm not even going to put it in mock sender. I'm going to shove it in the sender thing here. Mock sender is a struct. And then we go func sender. We don't need anything off it for the time being. We might do later. One of these. Yes, we are going to, and in fact, it needs to be. It needs to be a string. Actually, let's put channel as well. Pointer receiver, so we can set these, and all we're going to do is going to do m.channel is channel, and m.message is message. Nil. And we may actually want to fake having an error coming out. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to const calls error. And then we say if message is equal to calls error, return. Shut up here. Mock error triggered, so then we can just return mock error. Right. Yada 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 yada. And I'm going to go one. Am I going to go one step further? Yes. I'm going to take this yoink. I'm going to shove it in here. I'm going to take this yoink. I'm going to shove it in here. Yes. Formatted. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, well, we need calls error as well. There we go. So that just doesn't pollute. That stops my my main package space from being polluted with stuff that's only actually going to get used for testing. So we've now got this this mock sender. It's for testing. Send a message on the mock sender. The message and channel are captured. Want to capture them regardless, I suspect. And if the message is calls error, then an error is returned. Yoink. This is now just keeping the linter happy. Is returned if the sender was configured to send an error. And my spidey sense is tingling. Less hacky way of doing this. Captured, there we go, and then we can turn around and just say return error, which means that I can now set any error I like on my mock sender to have send return an error set. Cool. So we've got ourselves a nice little mock sender there. Why are you whinging? Or are you just taking time? That's Discord test that's whinging, not that one. Cool. And we know why that's complaining. So our senders are fine. Let's shove some comments in here. By any sender, if the message failed to send, and Captain Obvious is obvious. To a gem platform. There we go. Send the message to the channel. If the message fails to send, return an error. Message received from the chat platform. There's not much more we can say about that. Where's it on the chat platform? So Discord is all now nicely set up. Just need to comment the Discord sender, possibly the handle as well. We'll see. Discord sender sends messages to Discord. Spell and send message to Discord. We'll find out whether the linter whinges about handle. Actually, we're not implementing anything, it will whinge. Handle incoming message. Incoming message. Responding via the sender. And if I cap that and that. Back to our test. Right, this horrible, hideous, yeek. Get rid of all of that. Get rid of you. Goodbye. Right, now what we need a message. Okay, Sam. Listener.message. One too many. Message. Fill in all the fields. So this is going to come in from the channel chan. The content is going to be some amusing message, and our sender is going to be a sender, and they are not a bot. So our sender thing needs to come next, and our sender is just going to be our mock sender. We don't need an error message or anything like that. This is now listener.discord. And it's the other way around. Discord handle message and S. Why are you whinging? Of course. Drink. Done. Whereas before we had this horrible sort of setup where I didn't really care about any of it. Now I'm able to build up these tests much more simply, and I know I'm going to capture any sort of output. So what's going to happen with our Discord thing is it's going to go through a whole bunch of handlers, and one of the things we're going to want there is we are going to want to have some sort of echo handler or something like that, just so that we can make sure that things are coming through. So I'm going to, why are you there? I'm going to create myself an echo handler. Echo. We are going to go to one of the simpler handlers that we've got. Status echo. Replace all. Change that to an E. All receivers. E, thank you. And that was a bit dumb. No, we don't care about any of that. In fact, we don't care about any of this. We just want to return message. Nil. Do we care about the settings? No, we don't. Might actually capture the channel and the user on this as well. So it goes channel user. Oops, wrong way around. Doink. Channel user. Let's just double check that. Channel user. Okay. So we're going to return. Sprint f, and we're going to say %s. I'm going to say channel user message. So we're just going to get a responding with the channel message. Cool. Pausing and thinking, disappearing down a rabbit hole. Love it when this happens. So we seem to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. Do that and copy it. And I dislike copying and pasting too much stuff. So this is going to be the base handler, and this is going to be the base handler. We don't care about that. It's going to do nothing. This is going to go name plus that. From the name, let's capitalize that, and then we're going to say that base handler so I should be able to then turn around here and go goodbye, and up here do that. Can't do that. Just having a think about how best to get the name in there. So let's put some, you should always have sort of, if you've got structs and stuff, you should always have them usable if they're empty wherever possible. So we can just give this an unnamed action if nothing's set. And when we construct our echo struct and all the others, we'll pass in the names as part of that. This is just going to reduce the amount of code that is actually required. Under our ping, we can just delete that. We can turn around and say that this is now our base action, our base handler. And by using this anonymous type, not giving it a name, it basically exposes the methods that are on the base handler up to the sort of the ping struct. And we're going to have a slight problem, you might think, here, because our init is more complicated, and we only want ID to be handled by the base handler. However, Go does not allow overloading of functions or overriding of functions in any sort of traditional sense of the word. So because you can't have functions overloaded, what happens is this init will eclipse the init from here. And if I want the init from here, I'll have to actually type in more.basehandler.init. So this works quite nicely insofar as I can just sort of have this called directly. So that's reduce some code. I always like reducing code. We've got our echo handler there, which is going to then get used down here in our Discord test. Handlers. Let's go for no. Don't convert to font jar. No, wrong one. Are you going to give me the no? Does that not have anything in it? Ah, lowercase. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm going to change how this works in order to make it more testable. At the moment, actions are all hidden. So I'm going to expose them out, and now we don't actually need to pass them in anymore because we can set them elsewhere. So we can get rid of that, and now we just need to arrange through our actions. Just update what's going on here. I can now go back into my test. So I can now say, here are my actions, and I am going to have actions.echo, which I need to pull out because I'm going to need to refer to it later. So I handle my message. And now I need to have a look at a couple of things that have happened. So let's go switch on nothing in particular, and we're going to say case a dot. Have we eclipsed that at all? No. Oh, it's not A that we're looking at. It's M we're looking at. So if the channel is not equal to chan, then we're going to actually don't even need to do this. This is an example. I can cheat even more. Format.println m dot s dot message. And I think it's going to be, what did we say? We said chan, sender, some amusing message. Well, yeah, look at that. Got nothing. Mock sender. Let's just make sure the mock sender is setting message and channel. And we were printing out the message. Let's just print out the channel as well for the moment. I know this is going to fail, but let's just see whether we've got anything. And the error, yoink. Alex has said, I've replaced the ignore box task with a race condition in storage engine task. Okay, let's just go have a look at Discord and see what he's been doing. I hate you. we'll fix that, don't worry. Go handles can translate beautifully. And that may actually be an issue with Discord, we'll see. We can put tests in now that we're doing this kind of things. Alex says, mwahaha, ahaha. I still hate you. But in a loving, caring type way. Users are sent to test us. Anyway, we know this is going to fail because we are not expecting any of that to be populated. Got nil. That's just the error. So nothing happened on that. Great. Something's gone horribly wrong. And the reason it's gone horribly wrong is because our bot check. Is it because of our bot check? No, bot's definitely false. We don't have the prefix. This is where we should have... where are we? Discord test. Bang, some awesome message. So this will still fail, but hopefully we should get some things populated. Yes, we have. So let's just change that. Yoink. Rerun that. And of course we strip the prefix out. And in order that I don't forget this is using the prefix, I'm going to do, well, I'm going to need to change that to an uppercase P on the prefix. There. So if I strip this out at a later date, it'll just fail to compile. And I will know that I've forgotten what's going on here, and I will come back and fix it. So there's our listener prefix. All that tests. Yes, it does. So if I was to go into my terminal and go into the listener and get some coverage. Okay, it's not great, but we have 35.3% of statements are covered. I think new Discord is probably unwarranted now. Unneeded. Because we can just construct our own. Some actions are used to handle the messages. Less code to test. Connect, I have no idea how we're going to test this at the moment. Handle, okay, so we've done our example on handle, but we can do some more testing. So we can turn around and we can check if we've got the bot and if we've got the prefix, and possibly some other things. So, yoink, down to Discord test. Done my example. Don't want to do these other tests as examples because they'll get pulled up in the documentation if we generate it. So I'm going to do this as a proper test. And this is going to be test Discord handle, and we are going to want to t.run bots should be ignored. And we can reuse this setup, except this is now true. I don't need S to be separate anymore. Yes, we do. We don't need M to be separate anymore. But then it's quite big. We don't need A to be separate anymore. So I'm just looking at how we can simplify the amount of code we've got and the amount of things we're kicking around. So we need S. N's quite big, so we're gonna leave it off. So we get that. Yoink. Yoink. There. Bot should be ignored. There. And if s.message is not equal to nothing, then we know we've got a problem. Do we do anything with the Discord if we don't send any messages at all? Handle. No, we just return an empty string, so that's fine. That's all we want to test for. So if the message is not the empty string, we want it to be ignored. T.error. Don't even need that, just T.error. Bots are not being ignored. There's a test. The prefix should be required. So we get rid of the prefix. It's not a bot. Because I'm not showing an example of this, I don't need to include the bot stuff in there. In fact, the channel is pretty meaningless as well. Doink. So, messages without command prefix are being ignored. Fantastic coverage. Look at that, 42.4%. So the only thing that's left in our handle is well, there's a few things left in our handle. So we should be able to stick in run actions not mandatory. So we wanted to be able to work if there's no actions provided to the system. So we can take this, yoink. This no longer is needed, and handle that. Does it return an error? No, it doesn't. So it should just be an empty actions. And this will also make sure that things like panics and what have you don't cause it to fall over in a crumpled heap. We need to test that it's failure to send is handled gracefully. So we are going to take this one, and we are having our mock sender, and we're going to set an error, and the error is going to be did we not expose an error there? Message send fail. It's in the package. Listener message send failed. The message should be set here. So if the message is not equal to actually, yeah, well, what it should be, which is chan sender. No, we don't have a channel. That's going to be empty. Let's send some amazing message. Alex may have got the event bot blocked. All I can say is Muppet. Why hasn't that done more for me? Let's run this way. Run. Clearly not testing what I think I'm testing. Oh, that's failed. No, because my send handler... no, that's not true. So we're going to go through our actions. Yoink, we're doing all of that. We should actually have a message, and then we should send the channel and the message. And if it errors, we shouldn't be blanking anything. In our sender test, here's our mock sender. We're setting the channel, we're setting the error, and then we're returning error. Under Discord, if we have an error, we don't do anything with it. We just report it. So why did you not go bang? Discord test. Just run you. Let's do it this way. Might be that I just got the message format wrong. Unexpected error. Nope. Unexpected message. That's not message. There we go. Let's run that again. Unexpected message. Blank. Let us strap the debugger to this. We're going to block it there. Please debug me this. In your own time. Whenever you're ready. Still compiling. Thank you. I blame OBS. It's normally a lot quicker than that. Oh, goodness me. That tells me I'm doing something dumb. Let's put another breakpoint there and try this again. Right. What are you? What is sender.bot? M sender bot is false, so we're not returning. Yes, I'm being dumb. Of course, because I copied and pasted the wrong thing. This is where I do the public service announcement of don't copy and paste, but you've seen me do it constantly for 6 sessions. So you're not going to listen. I certainly don't. Let's try rerunning that. That's better. That's much better. Right, let's try getting some more coverage on there. Let's got some more. So getting a message of empty. That should have happened with the empty action handler, and I have been a doofus there as well. Even better. So the only thing in our handle that we haven't checked is if we're pulling out some kind of error that's not an error not handled. So we're going to have an error action. Remember, kiddies, cut and paste is bad. Error just goes boom. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. That's the word I'm looking for. Boom. No, you can't do that. Boom. And we return that and boom. Excellent. Boom is loud. So now we can back to our Discord test, and our last one is going to be shove that on there. Action errors are handled gracefully. And what I'm going to say here is I'm actually going to give two actions. So I want to make sure that we continue going through and don't sort of give up the ghost halfway through. So we're going to have actions error and actions echo put on here. We're going to send that through. We're going to expect that we've got the message to come through. There's not much we can do. I mean, I could strap the logger to it, but you can put log hooks and things in, but I'm not really too fussed about that. We can use Mark 1 eyeball for this. What we care about is that those are the things I was expecting to get out. Send us some amusing message. Why did you fail? Unexpected message. That. Interesting. So this has pulled a side effect. Yes. Always test your code. So what happened there is the message coming out was correct, but it was on a new line, and the reason being is because we were appending the empty string that came out of the poorly handled message. So there's two ways to look at this. One is to say that okay, we've had an error, but we might have got a message out. But I'm basically thinking that if you've had an error and you felt you had to report the error, we probably don't have any messages or a message worth having. So let's not append it unless we are error-free during our handling. And it may also be that our handlers aren't able to handle the message for other reasons, and another handler may be able to pick it up. So we don't want to be sticking in just blank strings all over the place. So we've actually found some bugs, some quite major bugs, just by going around and shoving these basic tests in. I mean, none of them are complex. So where are we at? We're at 63% coverage. We can't really test send at the moment until I can mock that out, and we can't really test connect. So we're at most coverage we can really have with this particular thing, more than I expected we would get. So let's just let's add them to Git. Let's just run make over things because it's going to whinge at me for various reasons. Interesting. I was expecting a lot more whinging. Right, so reader. Where did that come from? This came from an example I was writing in a training test, a training exercise. I was just explaining how some stuff worked in a real package, so we can bin that. That's fine. This is a doesn't like that. Of course, it doesn't like that. We don't have a new Discord anymore, and can we just turn around and go? Oops. Let's do this. And let's stop Discord. Functions A, and then that becomes that. Yeah, that's what we need. The reason why I wasn't getting as much whinging as I expected is because it was failing to compile. Vet also tries building things. So, I mean, that was just basically a compiler error. That's better. Prefix, because of course prefix is used by the bot to denote a command. And I haven't wrapped an error. That should be, it's because I'm wrapping the other error. Fine. We'll wrap the other error then. Get rid of you. There's only so much arguing with the linter that I'm prepared to do. Get rid of you. And just shove you in there. And Discord guide, top level comment should end in a full stop. So our mock sender needs to have its own error. Send error. Stop you. To send. Will you compile? Oh. That's to do with the package scoping that happens with underscore test and what have you. Listener test still lives in listener-ish, kind of, sort of. Fail. I just not. Oh, of course. So if you recall, I went off and I did a whole bunch of stuff in terms of this default sort of action type thing, and I'm not setting my actions up properly. So let's go do this here to start off with. So ping name is going to be what's the name? It's going to have to be base handler. Why can't I do name there? Does base handler not have name? The whole point of me doing this was that here we are, base handler has name. Ping has a base handler in there. Perhaps I can't initialize it like that. That's upsetting, but such is life. So a base handler is a base handler name is ping. And we're going to want that. Let's shove you down to a new line. And then we can pop you there. Does status not have a base handler? It should do. No, it does not. Ambiguous name reference. Which one are we going to disambiguize? How are we setting this up? We're passing in settings and then the base handler. Given we're having to actually specify the base handler, let's just name it, and then it won't be an issue. We will have to do something with our more thing. We will probably end up checking to make sure that we have a store. So I might actually just get rid of that, make that, that, make that, and yes, don't worry, we're going to rename store later. There is an issue for that, but we'll sort that later. So fm.store is nil and return. New store defined. Return that. Shove a comment in there. No store. Cool. Right, so we can go back to our GoBot. Now we've got base handler and settings is also going to have to be named in order to. Where's it going to have to be named? No, we have to do it the other way around. There was a reason we had the base handler like that. There was a reason we had it that way around. We wanted it for its. We wanted it for its stuff. So our settings wanted to be named. So we go that way. Down to here. That's much better. And you no longer exist like that. You become more. Things don't the counter. The store is going to be store, and this is going to be name more. Driver, not store. What are you complaining about? Why are you not liking? I'm going to be a pointer because it's using pointer functions. Okay. One thing I'm not liking is this is long. So new base handler. I know this is not going to be much shorter, but it's going to be more semantically better. Name, probably give that a type. Down to GoBot. So this can now just be new base handler. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then this is status, and this is more. Right. Do you all? Oh, we need to also go to our tests, because remember those actually failed, so this was just me setting stuff up. Where were those tests? They would have been under example ping ID. They're under here. Okay, so let's just run these and see what's going wrong. Right, you got on it. Okay, so you wanted ping action, so this just needs to be base handler. New base handler ping. Except that's example ping ID that we wanted on that. Example ping handle is fine. Too far. Too much. It's this one, example ping ID. Yoink. In fact, okay, so the reason why that's winching is because we don't actually have ID on ping anymore. We can get rid of that. Yoink. We can have tests on the base handler. So here we go. Handler test. Example new base handler. Too much. Just write it out. B equals actions, and let's put that in the test package. Test. New base handler named. In fact, we can just do all in one line. Thanks. Format.println all that .id. And just to show what happens if we don't do that. So we'll pass in an empty one, and this will happen with anything implementing base handler as well. And what we want in there is named action and unnamed action. Let's get some consistency here and put it in a capitalization. And then let's put a colon there so we can actually run it. Much better. Right, let's run all of those tests again and see what's going on. Okay, status ID we can get rid of. And what has happened here? we are getting no output for the bot part. Where's that coming from? That's coming from s.name, and of course that now needs to be settings name. All green, fantastic. Gotta love that. Make. Function main is too long. I mean, it is a bit. It is rather a lot. Let's make this simpler. So I am thinking there's a few things that go on here. We've got 3 main sections. We've got the sort of the setup here with the settings, the kind of initialization here with the logging. I can't use init because that's actually a special function name, but we can call it startup. So function startup, and that really just does this. There's no side effects from it. Well, there are side effects from it, but there's nothing that gets returned. So we just want to start up. Now that's enough to get rid of the warning, but let's actually configure ourselves. So at this point, we're going to have configure. This is going to return some settings. So that'll be config on settings. We're going to return an error because we catch all the errors. And exit. So all of our sort of falling over in a nasty heap happens here. So settings is equal to configure. And there we go. So, I mean, the test coverage isn't perfect, but 42.6% and 63.6% just for sort of throwing some stuff in there, it's an improvement, and we still have that issue open for improving testing. So this is going to be an ongoing thing, but I just feel slightly happier about the fact that we're not continuing to put stuff in there without the tests. And we did find, I found an awful lot of things that I'd shoved in there before. So, this is where we fake the fact that we've been doing this in a lovely, nice way and checking things in as we've been going along. Actually, no. It's live. Everyone's seen me do it. In it goes as a nasty big I disappeared off down a rabbit hole. So this is fix 12, fix number 12, and what did we do? We stopped don't respond to bots. We also improve testing and testability. And fixed a number of bugs. Commit. Let's review this. What are we for time? 25 minutes. We can do other things in that time. Excellent. Let's close that after the review. I think one of the things we'll do as the next quick release is to go and change that store name. So Liam came up with a much better name. But let's have a look at what we're doing here. So GoBot became simpler in terms of the main. We've messed around with a lot of this. Yeah, it's got a bit confused about how things have gone through, but yeah, it's fine. The README, I've just put that coverage thing in there for people to go have a look. This is our little echo handler thing. We haven't registered that with the main bot because the echo handler is really there for testing. Also with the error handler, again, it's really just there for sort of testing. And also I can see people weaponizing things like this until I've thought about stuff. Here's our actions test. That looks okay. Our base handler that we put in there just to simplify a few things. More now is what are we doing here? We're using the store with the capital S. Where did onboard keys gone down there? We've put that error in and we've got rid of the new. Store is of course now capital S, don't need an ID anymore. Store is now capital S, and we're checking to make sure we've got one. We've pulled the ping out of the ID out of the ping, and it's got a space handler. That's the test, that's right, yes, that's the test, that's gone. Status doesn't have that anymore. For the ID, and again we've put the base handler in there, changed the settings so they're named. ID and init have gone. Nice big test for Discord. Nice. Prefix is now accessible externally, and we'll move that even further into the config file later. Our actions are accessible. Fiddled around with the documentation there because of the way we're doing things. Handlers are now public. Yes, we've improved the logic here and got rid of a bunch of bugs, made it much more testable. There's our message, nice and simple. There's our sender task, nice and simple, and our listener. So that's all pretty straightforward. This is all ready to go in, so we're going to merge that. It passed, lovely. Off we go. And we go off to our commits. Give it a few minutes, but Alex, would you like to ready your bot to see whether my bot ignores your bot? Because that would be nice. So one of the things, may I speak now? I'm just going to go version status. I can't remember now. There we are. So that's 1.1 built then. So hopefully when this builds and releases, it'll be a bigger number, and we can see it working. We can see it ignoring the bot. So while that's building, let's just go off to issues. Issue 12 is gone. We can that way, get done. And we're going to rename drivers. We're going to do number 7. So get new issue 7. Yoink. So we'll forget about the driver name. Went for the current driver type, but the internet hello has suggested they don't like driver either, which is fair. Suggested adapter, which I dislike, and provider. Right, so provider was the thing that we were going to do because no one came up with a better name than the thing that defines the interface of the document storage thing that I'm using, which is currently S3, but could be any DynamoDB or whatever, which incidentally is a perfectly valid Java class name. Probably got an I on the front of it. So we're going to call provider instead of driver. So under our store, here's our driver. Going to rename this. Rename driver to provider. Excellent. Going to shove that. Refactor. Rename provider. Return. See what it's going to do. I've misspelt provider, and I can change the file in a bit. do refactor. Yoink. Refactor rename. Provider, not or. Where are we here? No, didn't want that one. I wanted commits. All built, fantastic. So we're going to be sending out 0.1.2. Tag that. v0.1.2. Create the tag. Great stuff. So that will go out in a few minutes. We will see that in a bit. Is provider used anywhere? It's used here. We're going to refactor and rename that provider. And might actually rename that as well into there. Refactor, rename that provider. So that's going to change. Why is that going to change? Oh yes, because it's a provider. And that's going to change. Oh god, no. No, go away. None of those. Do refactor. So we've got providers. Fantastic. That should be all that's needed. See whether it compiles. Take that, JavaScript. Excellent. Although I suspect some people are shouting at me going TypeScript because I believe that is compiled and strongly typed. Cool. We've renamed it provider. Git commit directory. The internet should be happy now. Fix. For a given definition of happy, the internet is never happy. Rename driver to provider, and we commit that. I'm just going to make sure that my other pipeline has finished. I'm pretty sure you can't run the pipes that I'm using concurrently with my level of payment, shall we say, to Atlassian. I seem to recall getting errors if two were running. So let's just let's let this one do its thing. Shouldn't take too much longer, and then we can shove out our next fix, and then we can go have a look at the next issue to fix. And I think that one is actually just going to be updating the status thingy, because it's nice and quick, updating the version, whatever it is, to say I've been up for this amount of time. So where are you? If it's gone past, it's doing the deploy to Fargate, so it's the ECR one I can't actually run at the same time. I don't think I can run at the same time, but we're fine now. So let's, no, not go review, get review. That will go off and you can run that one. So you can tell everything's getting slow as the CSS is not kicking in correctly. It's almost time how long the stream's taken by when the Bitbucket page goes wrong. So we create the pull request for there. What have we got? We should just see driver being changed to provider everywhere. Lots of that. Lots of that. Fantastic. We'll wait for that to build as well. And I love the fact that we have a code that is building so quickly, and the ability to change the code so quickly that actually we are constrained by pipelines, even though the fact those pipelines only take a minute and a bit to work. There we go, cool. So the bot should have begun its redeployment. It'll come up in a bit with a new version. It's still 1.1. 1.2 will come out shortly. Fargate will do its thing. takes a minute or so just to provision the hardware and make sure that everything's up and stable and what have you. Let's go here. Can't quite do done. Need to get this build finished so I can be more faster with increased speed. Why you no work? This is the whole watched pot never boils. What have I done? I've broken you. Have I confused myself with which is the bot and which isn't the bot? We'll find out. Stay tuned. Oh no, hang on. No, that is online. Yes, no, I'm not being stupid. The bot is online, it's just not listening to me anymore. Cool. Right. We'll fix that when we fix the status thing. Great, you are there, so we will approve and merge. Merge. I'm just wondering if I've done something dumb when I moved the... I think I have. I think I should be able to fix that. Right, you're going to go off and do the that thing. I will. I'll fix it as part of the issue to get the status out, because status should also contain like text. Should respond. So this is issue 7. New issue 7. Excellent. Right, let me just see what I've done here. We connect here. We've got the message and the sender. We're handling that. Where am I setting those? You're doing add handle. That's interesting. The handler takes any type. Oh. Right, so we don't want to be adding that as the handler. We want to be, let me just compare that with, we don't need to annotate it with git blame. I know who did it. It was me. I'm to blame. Compare with, I'll just show history. It's probably easiest. Dun, 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 dun. Show me the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing. So do.handle used to be that, right. So we need to set our handlers. So I am thinking our handler has to have this signature. Oops. And We need to do a little bit of fun stuff. We did it in the tests because we were just calling handle and we weren't doing connect. So I've forgotten a step. This is where it's gone wrong. So we need to add a handler, and the handler basically needs to convert this garbage into stuff that I want. So we're going to want a session, which is my type of session. So session equals a session equals even a session. We called it a sender. Sender equals a sender. Discord sender even. Discord sender. And its session is S. That's all that's going to be in there actually. We don't need to. There we go. The message is going to be a message. That one. Fill in all the fields. I said fill in all the fields. So channel is going to be m dot channel ID. Content is going to be m dot content, and the user is going to be fill in all fields. M dot author dot ID and m dot author dot bot. And then we will d.handle message and sender. Cool. And because that's quite large, I might actually go back to where we were before. Just shove this down at the bottom because it's going to be Discord lowercase handle. That. So here we can lowercase h and it's called d.handler. Just for the semantics. Right, cool. That is, just give me these breakpoints. That's that sorted. Let's just make sure that still builds all very nicely. Make. Was it issue 7 we were on? No, that was issue 7. We were on issue 8. Rename that branch. This should now be ready. Yeah, no, it's already merged. Commits. That's built, so we've got a 1.3 coming out. Oops. And we've got 7 minutes to get 1.4 out, which I think will be absolutely fine. 1.3. Off you go. Bye bye. You've all built lovely, fantastic. So let's just git commit file, and this is number 8. Fix issues raised in number whatever it was that we blew it up on. What did we blow it up on? Issue number 12. And that'll just reference it back in the issue stuff. So I can go in like that. Fantastic. I'm just going to rename a branch. Issue 8. Right, so we wanted the status message to also include when it started. So we're actually going to need an init function here. That's status. These all now need to become pointer functions, and in fact I will probably change all of my actions to become like that, so that we're cohesive across the board. Just make sure that's no init doesn't take settings, init just takes error. Just returns an error. Great. So what I want is a time start time is time. Fantastic. So s.start time equals time.now. The action. Great. What are you whinging about? Oh, return nil. That actually, I think the linter might let me get away with that. We'll see. Interesting. Ah, yes, of course. Split that out a little bit to get that working. I imagine I'll have to go down into the GoBot thing as well. Blah 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 blah. So we've got the time, and now we can now beginning to wish I had allowed a slice of strings to come back. Might add that later. For now, we're just going to have to just do this uptime percent. I'm just going to put percent v. I can't remember what the duration is or the verb for duration is. This is now getting quite long, so I'm actually going to do yoink, 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 like that. And we're going to have time.now dot sub start time. Trez awesome. Right, so while we're here, let's just make all of these pointer functions. Let's be consistent across all of these. That's a pointer, and that's a pointer, and that's a pointer, and that's a pointer, and now it's going to complain at me in a load of places, and we can go fix all of those. Right, so okay, new base handler wants to return thinking, going to leave it like that. Just going to change the way this is done, just because of the way we're using it. H is equal. Let's go for H actions. Well, base handler, and then we're going to say H is equal to that H.id. Nope, don't want that. And then we want H is equal to that and H.id. Fantastic. Where else did it complain? Discord test. Thank you. So that actually just wants to be that. And that. And that. And that. Any more for any more? Yep, those two. That. And that. Sprinkling of the ampersands around. And then, of course, these now become slightly more consistent. Oops. Let's see whether you're all complaining. Yes, you are. It's not set enough the ping. Okay, yep. We just need to go and sort. So yeah, it's a little bit of pain now, but it just makes things a little bit more consistent across the board, and I'm not going to get any nasty surprises with things not being consistent. Dun, 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 dun. synths. Cool. Forgot about that. And that one, yeah, okay. Not going to let me get away with that. We failed. Why have we failed? Of course we failed because our uptime is going to be... wow. That seems wrong. That to me says that we've not been initialized properly. Yes. Okay, so we're not actually going to be able to do much in terms of being able to test that uptime in an example like this. But what we can do is... why does that come out twice? I may have to go rewatch from the previous videos and work out why I've put that in twice. We don't need it in twice. It's just doing the same thing twice. So I'm going to have to do something a little nasty here and say that I just want from the start of this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think 25. Let's have a look. There we go. And in fact, we could probably just include the uptime on there as well. So that's another 1, 3, 9, 10, 11. This is 36. Counting and maths. That's correct. Uptime. Cool. So, like I say, it's very hard with the examples to get variables into your output. In fact, it's impossible. So I could write a full test for it, but it's fine for the time being. Right. So does that mean we are going to build cleanly? Oh, we've overrun. Sack the presenter. Yes, we've built cleanly, so we are going to git commit that. This is going to be fix 8. Fix number 8. And we are adding uptime to status, and we are also homogenizing. I can't spell homogenizing. Making the actions consistent. Pointer functions. Fantastic. Right. Git review that. Close our issue, create pull request. And just checking that everything is as we expected. Most of this is just messing around with the fact that it's pointers. And then the fact that we actually need to handle our messages properly. So I'm hoping that's going to work. It'll be a bit of another anticlimax if I manage to release a non-working bot for the end of the stream. Let's have a look. What do you mean pipeline failed? Don't give me that. Why did you not complain when I built you? Or did you? That is interesting. Go vet that's whinging about it on there. I mean, it's correct. It's in the test. Oh, hang on. Can I use ping? I'm not sure what the type. There's actions handler. Right. Okay. I wonder if there's a mismatch in the versions of Go or something. Anyway, we can fix that. We can fix that quite easily. So the first one is GoBot is whinging about these. Fine. Okay, that's pointed to a handler. That. Ah, I know why. Can't do that. It is to do with the way that I'm messing around with the base handler. Handle has pointer receiver. Yes, I know handle has pointer receiver. And you're not actually a pointer in there. Annoying. Trying to think of the quickest way to fix this. I could go take the pointer receivers out, but you're not really supposed to mix them, or mix and match them, should I say. It's sort of bad etiquette. So dun 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 dun. So that's going to in Discord test. I think that's going to be that there. It should give me a line. 1251. No, it's up here. Really? Listener Discord. Oh, line 12. Yeah, so it's whinging from there. Handler is a interface. And it's not liking the fact that we're passing in a pointer to that. Oh, very annoying. Does it tell me what version of Go it's using? I'm going to do a quick. It's literal. I'm going to do a quick Google just to see if there is a quick way around. But I'm already doing that. Oh, it's probably because of the... right, let's see whether this works. And I'm aware that I have massively overrun, but deal with it. So I'm going to say that's going to return that. That's going to be one of those. And what happens now? Are we going to get compiler errors at that? Or is it going to? Yes, it is. So the base handlers need to be pointers, like so. Like so. I'm just concerned that I'm not going to get my my freebie functions off there, which is going to be annoying. That wants to be a pointer. 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 You're fine. You want to be a pointer. Everyone happy? Everybody happy? I mean, it's building. Boom! Actions handler go to 34. So there's an interesting side effect. If you've got a pointer function like this, you can actually end up being passed nil for B, which I probably have because something somewhere along here has not set its base handler properly. Discord test. Yes, because I've not actually set up the base handlers in my examples. But that's fine. I've now put in a check for nil. So if our base handlers are not set up, it should, he says. Where are you? Not equal to nil. Let's try putting our Boolean logic in correctly. Why are you still? Why are you still? Handle logo. No. Right. Okay. Yes. Doofus, that's why. So var n, I should just go n is equal to unnamed. If b is equal to nil or b dot names that, then n. If b is not equal to nil and b dot name is not equal to that, which we should be able to swap round. No, because we get the inverse. So that becomes n equals b dot name. And then we return n plus action. So what was happening previously was blowing up in different places. This is actually the first time I've ever had to worry about a pointer function getting nil. And it's always because of program error. It's just I was the programmer, it was my error, and I don't actually want to have to be specifying the base handler all the time. I can't be dealing with that on all the tests, so let's actually just handle it being nil in this particular case. Right, that's all building. So what are we saying here? What was issue 8? What did we even do in issue 8? Yes. So this is just point all the things. commit directory, fix number 8, pointer, all the things. Now hopefully you'll go off and build nicely and we will have a working bot. Or the builder fail again, I'll just throw my hands up in horror and end the stream. Either or, I don't care. Hopefully this won't take too long. Build for me, my lovely. So it's been running for about 30 seconds and we need it takes about a minute and a half. So we've got 3 builds to get through and then a quick test on the Discords to make sure it's working. While we're doing that, because I have massively overrun, look at it as the free half hour that you missed on episode 1. While we're doing that, I shall do the standard sort of please press the likes and the subscribes and all the other YouTubey type things that you should be doing. You can go check out our website, which is at nor.dev. That ping you just heard was an email coming in. Now, either that is the previous build that's just emailed itself to me, or this one's just failed. Anyway, yes, you can go to our website, which is nor.dev, and you can see loads of things going up on there. I think we've got a thing tomorrow even on Blazor. Might not be tomorrow, might be next week. But go check the website, it's on there. Interesting talk on Blazor for our regular or semi-regular Thursday, once or twice a month type events. We've got a Discord. If you're not on the Discord already, come join the Discord. Alex will shove the link in the chat because I get to treat him as my slave while I'm doing these things. And if you want to join the Discord, you want to get in quick because we're making changes, and you want to be in before the changes. Right, let's merge this in. As I said at the beginning, we have Patreon, however you want to pronounce it. The community sort of helps a lot. We're very community driven, but there are expenses. Things cost money, and while the community tries to absorb as much of that expense as possible, it's not possible to cover all of that. So I mean, things like just running the Discord sessions when we're doing our regular Thursday things, we have to give Discord money. Feel free to clone this and play along at home. Feel free to raise issues. Feel free to have a look at the issue that Alex found with the race condition. We'll be looking at that next week. Oh, look, Bitbucket is experiencing an incident. It's about the 5th incident they've been experiencing today. Yeah, I mean that's sort of all the YouTubey bits. All that remains is for us to release this and see whether it works. Come on, you can do it. You know you can do it. If you're interested, if you like listening to me witter on, if you go to my GitHub repository, not my Bitbucket one, I've got a talks repo on there with a whole bunch of me yabbering on about various stuff. Some of it technical, some of it not so technical. And also, if you check out the NorDev YouTube, or Norfolk Developers YouTube channel, there's a whole bunch of me and various other people. Some of them much more qualified to speak than me, who will provide you with huge amounts of information about all the things. Right, version 0.1.4. We have had a huge array of people come and talk over the years. Quite an impressive array. So yes, if you are devoid of things to watch between now and next Wednesday, you can go there. Right, this is it. This is the release. This is it going out. it should, at some point in the very near future, disappear and then come back again. And we either go, hurrah, it works, and clap ourselves on the back, or we sob uncontrollably into our blackcurrant branded drink and fix it for next week. Although it does mean if it's not running for a week, that we can't break it during that week. I mean, impressed that Alex managed to break it as quickly as he did. That is users for you. Let's have a look. What's this pipeline doing? Dun, 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 dun. Um, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So we should be, and then probably another minute or so for Fargate to do its thing. So interestingly, when we looked to see what was going wrong, and we looked into the library code, I saw there was a log message that came out. If we were to go to Fargate and just see what was going on, we would see that in the logs. But we didn't need to go that far to diagnose the problem. In fact, we haven't had to log into AWS at all today, which is nice. It's just there, it's just running, it's just doing its thing. I mean, obviously Bitbucket has logged into AWS on my behalf, but I haven't had to go play with the dashboard, and that's the way I like things. Bitbucket is experiencing another incident, but they are on it. Or is this the same incident and it's just the webhook is slow to respond? Or, as I was joking earlier today, have they rebranded to Bitbucket is experiencing an incident, but we're on it? It's not quite as catchy, I know. Soon we will be done. Three minutes ago? Taking too long. I don't know about anyone else, but I see that failed on there and I'm just like, oh, look at all those lovely successful runs and then failed. So while we're waiting for that, let me just check to see whether Alex raised the concurrency issue. No, he did not. Let's create that. Appears to be a raise condition. The more command. I'll expand it. Went wrong. Cool. Assign that to me. That's a bug. That's a fairly major bug. We'll leave that there. And then one of the other things I want to go do just quickly while I remember. It's not good base. Go Docker. I think I should just be able to go blink, and that should update Go version. Because if the reason why it was failing to build on Bitbucket but was building on my machine was Go version related, then that'll fix it. Right, we've deployed. Yes! Look at that. So also if we do more, so we know the bot has been down. It's been restarted. We've had a number of versions. We've now got our uptime being reported and to huge precision. I might need to change that. But we've also retained our more value. So the persistence is also working. So with a success in the bag and your half hour that I robbed you of due to poor timekeeping, or actually failing to deal with the time correctly on the first one, I'm going to call that a day. Cheers for listening to me witter on, and I will see you next Wednesday. Now I need to go find OBS because I've minimized it this week and click stop streaming.